peace be with you. After he says this, he showed them his hands and his side. When Jesus was crucified, the little Michelangelo painting of his crucifixion that we see downtown in the Smithsonian, the little images that we've seen, even the Passion of the Christ, does not fully capture how gruesome his crucifixion was. He was beaten and torn to the point that no one could recognize him. And the scripture describes it as no beauty could behold him. You couldn't even look at him. He was torn to shreds. He was unrecognizable, swollen, and bruised. When he appears to them back in this room, apparently he has received a new body. It's a glorified body. It's the type of body that can walk through walls, clearly. So he is not standing in this room looking like he did on the cross. We know that because they would have ran out of the room if his face was hanging off of his skull. If his back was still torn to shreds. If where they had pierced him and forthwith came blood and water was still spilling blood and water. So he is in a glorified or a new body. When we go to heaven and we come back, which you know the book doesn't end with us up there, it actually ends with us back here. We will receive glorified bodies. We will receive bodies that don't get sick and don't decay and do not. Now somebody ought to be glad about that. I said your feet won't hurt, your ankles won't hurt, your knees won't crack, your breath won't stink, your stay right there, breath don't stink. We will receive a glorified. That means infused by the glory of God. That means preserved by the glory of God. That means the glory of God sustains us no matter how you went out of here. No matter if you went out of here in the air or by sea or by trial or by fire, you will have a glorified body. It was God's intention in the beginning when he formed Adam and Eve of the dust of the ground and breathed into them the breath of life. Their bodies were never supposed to die. Why? Because they were full of him. It was his glory. Here comes Jesus back from the dead. It's so funny to me that King James seems to downplay how they felt about it. It says, then the disciples were glad when they saw the Lord. Are you kidding me? They weren't like, oh, that's good. Hello. No. They were shouting, they were running, they were dancing, they were leaping. The proof of the story of salvation that they had been told, the proof has now showed up in their living room. But Jesus, in his glorified body, it says when he had said this, verse 20, he showed them his hands and his side. What? He shows them his, you remember that it was his hands that they drove the nails through. And it was his side that they pierced. Which is so powerful to me that even with a glorified body, Jesus chose to keep the scars. I think I'm in here by myself. I said that he chose to keep the scars. He chose to keep the scars as an open show to darkness that he could not be stopped. The reason that I'm sharing this, can you guys get the scripture that we're on the screen, please? The reason that I'm sharing this is because every person in this room has scars. Now, I know that you see the crucifixion as the Father's plan because hindsight is 20/20. But when the devil saw the crucifixion as it was happening, He actually thought he was shutting down the plan of God. He actually thought he was stopping the plan of God. He actually thought he was hindering the plan of God. And the Bible said that if they had known when they crucified him that he was going to win the victory, they would have never done it. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I don't want to shout through this. I want to make sure you get it. When he had said this, he showed them his hands. These are his scars. Every person in this room has scars. The scars are the remnants of when the enemy stepped into your life to stop you, to kill you, to hinder you, to end the plan of God in your life. And see, what religion does, what religious people do, is stand behind the microphone and pretend like they don't have no scars. Pretend like you never felt like quitting or giving up or throwing in the towel. Pretend like the enemy never tried his best shot. Your scars are not to be hidden. Your scars become God's glory in your life. When you go through and you come out, that's your scars. When the enemy tries to shoot his best shot, there are your scars. When the devil attacks your family and you're still standing, those are your scars. Don't hide the scars. Don't throw the scars away. Don't be ashamed of the scars. Let them see them. Let them see them. Let them see them. Because some people got matching scars. And when I see your scars and you're still here, and you see my scars and I'm still here, then we can give God glory together. Is there